Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Time. I'm Sean. Alright guys, this is a great moment in the history of my YouTube channel. This is my 100th episode of Movie Time. Because it is the 100th episode of Movie Time, I want to do it a little differently today. I want to give you some of the topics, some of the things that caught my attention, like my normal episodes. But with my movie of the week, I want to do something a little different this week. So let's just start off the top with some of the news stories that caught my attention. 3 movies wrapped principal photography this week: X-Men Apocalypse, Captain America Civil War, and Independence Day 2. I'm really happy that they all finished. I'm really looking forward to all 3 of them. I think all 3 are going to be very enjoyable films. If I worry about anything in any of them, it is Independence Day 2, because the story is, I don't know, it seems like it's made for Will Smith to be there, but he's not there. So I still have my fingers crossed for that one and my hopes up for that one. But 3 movies wrapped filming, so that's good news. Now we're on to the last leg of these films, which is post-production, CGI, special effects, and all that good stuff. Maybe some voiceovers and things like that. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty with these films. I'm really excited about this. J.J. Abrams said in an interview with Empire this week that Kylo Ren, the villain in The Force Awakens, is not actually Sith. He's kind of like the anti-Luke. That's pretty interesting. I like that direction. It gives us a little bit of a different vibe to this film, so I like that a lot. And the fact that they're saying he's not Sith, I wonder what they're going to open up this world to in the terms of evil, the dark side. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, regarding Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the official Star Wars Instagram released a 15-second video with some footage that we haven't seen before, and it looks pretty cool, pretty exciting. I'm really happy about this. They are going to have a Force Friday next Friday, and they're going to release the toys. They're going to officially release the toys for the film. And so I'm hoping that this possibly could mean that this is a lead into maybe not only are they going to release the toys, but they're going to release a new trailer. That'd be really cool. It looks really cool. 15 seconds of footage, and it's new. Some of it's new. I'm happy about this. We've had a couple images dropped this week. The first image of Michael Fassbender in Assassin's Creed has been released. He is going to be playing a new assassin that is going to be related to the Assassin's Creed universe, but is not any specific character from the games. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty authentic. I need to see more than this though, because it is in a black, like the way that the picture is put out there. It's like with the background is just black. It kind of could be just photoshopped. I want to see a little bit more to make sure. I want to see, like, I want to make sure that this picture is real and not just somebody putting his face in the costume design. So it looks pretty interesting. So I'm neither here nor there about it. I'm excited that they're at least showing us this. Hopefully they get this film started underway, because before we know it, it's going to be its release date. The second, this one's a group of pictures, I guess you could say. The second photos that were released by Jeremy Renner's Instagram or Twitter, and it's regarding Captain America Civil War and who's on whose side. These look really cool and give you a pretty good idea of who's fighting who. I honestly think Captain America's side has its work cut out for them when you look at Iron Man's side. The Vision, Iron Man being on the same team, Black Panther. I don't know, man. Iron Man's side looks pretty damn good. So I want to see where this film's going to go, and if they're going to get pretty lethal, or if there's just going to be like, if something's going to happen that's going to force them to fight and they're going to realize what they're doing by the end. I don't know. We'll find out, but these are cool pictures. Thank you, Jeremy Renner. And the last bit of news this week that caught my attention, it happens to just be about a video game that I love, Borderlands. Lionsgate is actually going to be developing and filming, producing, shooting a Borderlands movie. I'm really happy about this. I love the game. I love the setting. I love the comedic aspects to this game, this series. I'm really excited about this. I hope that they kind of take the universe and use that as a basis, but don't follow the storyline in the movies. Don't try to replicate the storyline in the games. Don't try to replicate the games. Just kind of be themselves. Use this whole Borderlands universe as a starting point. I'm really looking forward to see what they can do with this one. Alright guys, no trailers this week. Nothing really came out that caught my attention, but let's talk about what's in theaters. In theaters this week, there's 3 movies that caught my attention. First off, We Are Your Friends, Zac Efron being a DJ. I'm hearing really bad things about this film. I kind of had my hopes up for this in the sense that I root for Zac Efron to prove that he is a good actor, because you see him sometimes sparkle, you know. But it looks like this film is not going to be what I was hoping it to be. Second film is going to be No Escape, starring Owen Wilson and Lake Bell. This one looks interesting. I've been interested in this one since day one. With the setting, I'm happy that Owen Wilson's going to get into some dramatic roles a little bit right here. Hopefully this kind of shoots him into a few more. I would like to see that side of him as an actor. And this one's interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see this one this weekend, but I am interested in this one a lot. And the last film is the one that I'm interested in the most. Now, I don't know if this is a limited release this week, but it's Z for Zachariah. This one looks so interesting, end of the world, post-apocalyptic, but at the same time, it doesn't even focus on that because it's focused on a point where it's not touched by that apocalypse. And you got Chris Pine, and I can't say his name right because I'm gonna mess it up. Zatili Ejiofor. He's a good actor. He was in a lot of stuff. Red Belt, was it Funky Boots or Plastic Boots, whatever. A lot of movies. Great actors. This one really caught my attention when I first saw the trailer. I'm really excited to see this one in theaters the most. Hopefully it comes, it's a wide release and I can see it in my area. Alright guys, so now it's time for Movie of the Week. This is my segment that no matter what I do with my YouTube channel, I'm gonna keep on doing this segment, but I want to show you a little insight in where I've come from in my history of film. Let's just start at the beginning. It's kind of like what a guy I really respect in the film industry does, Chris Gore, when he used to be on Attack the Show. They did the segment called DVD Tuesday, where he'd kind of go through films and just show you what you should watch. I want to show you where I'm coming from and kind of give you an idea of who I am and how I got to be where I am with my taste in movies, but also you should watch all these films I'm about to kind of go through right here. Alright, so first off, one of the first movies I ever remember, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This one is awesome. Dick Van Dyke's in here, one of my favorite physical comedic actors. This movie's wonderful. It's a bit long. It shows you kind of where we were with movies back then and how life just was, you know. They're gonna get married and they love each other in this movie, and they haven't kissed yet. Just things like that. It's imagination running wild, and it's a pure happiness. It reminds me of when I was a child. Nothing but good things to say about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's one of the first movies I ever saw, the first movies I remember. It's where I came from. It's what I love. Also, to go with that one, I don't have it on DVD, but I have it on VHS. It's a Mad World. Great movie. When we have it on VHS, it was 2 VHSs, and they actually did a remake sort of that movie called Rat Race. This one's a trilogy, Indiana Jones trilogy. We're not counting the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is a trilogy that started me off on the right footsteps. To be honest with you, I think the first one I saw of this was The Last Crusade with Sean Connery, one of my favorite actors of all time. This series just did so much for me, getting me into this type of love for adventure. It's a great trilogy. You should see all 3 of them. Some of the highest rated movies ever. Let's keep on going. Now this is where I get into some of the stuff that I find funny. Porky's. I should never, look at that. You got the leg going right there. I should have never watched this when I was a kid. But I somehow watched it when I was a kid, and I watched it with my friends, some of my friends that had never saw it when we were older, and some funny moments come from that too with my friends. It's good comedy. I got the trilogy right here. Just a great comedy. Porky's. That started me off on the wrong foot probably with what I think is funny. Spaceballs, classic, pure classic right here. 80s stuff. One of the classic 80s movies that I'll never get enough of. It's just awesome. Let's comb the beach. All right, we're combing the beach, and then they have a big comb, and love that movie. That's really where I started kind of going with my comedy. Stripes, one of the other ones I really love. Now this one's always quoted all the time. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You can't go wrong with this. This is something that's got to be in your collection. You got to see it if you haven't. I don't know. It has so many personalities in it that you can match up to people that you went to high school with. At the same time, it's totally out there, and it's not realistic. A guy I really like following in social media that makes movies, John Schnepp, is actually in the party scene, the parade scene. Really cool. This is a film, The Goonies, all about, you know, friends growing up and one of those old-time good adventures. I love it. Again, Indiana Jones adventure, this Goonies adventures. This is one of those things where you can relate to these kids, and it really just grabs you. Love that movie. Again, a movie that I probably shouldn't have been watching when I was this young. Major League, one of my first and favorite sports movies. I'll never get enough of. I love this film. The movie's great. Wild Thing, everything about that film is awesome. One of my first and most favorite sports movies. Let's jump into some of the stuff that gets a little bit older. Last one actually first, before I do that. Another old one, Clue. Love this comedy. And the funny thing about this one is you got some people in this. Christopher Lloyd, what's his name? He plays It. I forget I'm spacing on his name right now. But a lot of people know him from It. Tim Curry, a lot of people know him from It. I know him from this. And then I know him from Home Alone. Great movie. They actually have multiple endings on this, something that you don't see very often, especially back in the 80s. One of my favorite movies that came out in the 80s, and I watch this every year for Christmas, A Christmas Story. I always do a playthrough of this every Christmas. I usually leave it on TBS every year, watching that during Christmas. One of the first, my favorite movies of all time, this is a trilogy as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy, great trilogy, really corny, but if you're a kid, you love this, and if you're a kid born in the 80s, these were everything. At least to me, they were. I love these movies. It really got me into that martial arts stuff, which later led on to Jackie Chan movies. One of my favorite comedies of all time, Dumb and Dumber. This is the unrated version. This one didn't come out until, I think, sometime in the mid 2005, somewhere around there, 2006, and it showed me a lot more that was in the movie. This is really my cup of tea comedy-wise, as we'll see in a few more movies. One of my other favorite sport movies ever, Tin Cup. Rene Russo, Kevin Costner, Cheech Marin, Don Johnson. Nothing I can say about this film. I mean, some of it is really stupid, but some of it is just great and heartwarming, and I love the game of golf, and this helps me stay in touch with it. Let's get to a really stupid movie that's so terrible it's good, Mortal Kombat. This soundtrack is amazing. If you haven't seen this film, it's terrible, but it's good, so you gotta watch it. It's like, if you grew up, like I said, if you're born in the 80s, you grew up in the 90s, you had to have seen this movie. And you know that music. I actually used some of the soundtrack to put on a video I have online on one of my other pages it's called Mortal Kombat for Dummies. It's a really funny video, really stupid funny, just like that movie was. Let's jump in a little bit to some of the stuff that's getting me to here where I'm at now. I love post-apocalyptic stuff. Fallout series is some of my favorite things. This movie really scratched an itch of mine, The Book of Eli. It was written by Gary Whitta and directed by the Hughes brothers, okay? So, but this one, Gary Oldman, Denzel Washington, really scratched that itch for me, gave me a different perspective on what the apocalypse could be. I love seeing those types of things really puts my imagination in there. Another movie that you would love, that you gotta see if you love that type of setting, is called The Road, starring Viggo Mortensen. That one's really brutal though. That one is a brutal telling of the post-apocalyptic, probably a little bit more realistic. Also, Children of Men with Clive Owen. That's another good post-apocalyptic movie as well. Some of the comedies that have really shaped who I am today, other than, Dumb and Dumber. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it's always a good film. It always cracks me up, always can hit those notes that I need it to hit. Really good, must-see movie. This one is a little bit lesser known film, The Girl Next Door. It ignited my crush for Alicia Cuthbert. It introduced me to Emile Hirsch as an actor, who has turned into one of, in my opinion, one of the best actors around today. Really love that movie. Really funny, really heartfelt. This one, I Love You Man. This one has a lot of heart as well, and it is sensible to my comedic tastes. It's not vulgar, but it has some vulgarness in it, and it's not too much out there, but it's normal and it's realistic, and you can believe it. And it's just, I love it. I Love You Man. That's another one you gotta see. And then this one, Waiting. This one is gotta view kind of thing if you ever go to a restaurant, which we all do. It makes you respect what they do, and it makes you learn that you need to respect them. Because if you don't, you're gonna have some guacamole or some granular salt in your dish. Good movie. This movie, these next two, there's one movie in this trilogy that really did it, and the Avengers and the Dark Knight trilogy. You got the Dark Knight in here. These two movies, they turned the comic book movie genre on its head and really changed the game. They pushed the genre beyond where it is and where it could have thought it would have been, and they did a great job. You can't get better than those two films. Those two are the top films a lot of people will ever say that are comic book movies. You got to see those films. You just can't. They're required viewing if you're gonna watch comic book movies, and it's great. I love them. Now, I love science fiction. Now, I mentioned I touched upon, Adventure with Indiana Jones. You also have the Star Wars movies starring Harrison Ford. Great movies. You gotta see those as well. I also showed you Spaceballs, which is a spoof of Star Wars. Gotta see that. Some of the other movies that really show me that science fiction is still alive today, and I love science fiction so much. You have Interstellar, that came out last year, directed by Chris Nolan, who did the Dark Knight trilogy, and you have Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow when it was in theaters. Something about both of these films, I loved it. Edge of Tomorrow did Live, Die, Repeat. Shows us Tom Cruise is still there, and he can still do what he can still do it. He's been in our eyes on screen for 30 odd years now, almost 40 years now, since the 80s, and he just keeps on going. And I love science fiction. Those movies show that we can still keep on going, and we can still think of creative stories to tell. Now, this last film is the film that kind of made me realize how much I love movies. I love movies my entire life, and I remember going to Video City, Blockbuster all the time to get films when I was younger, even after high school, when I finally had money to do it. But this film, I watched it fairly recently. It was in college in my film class, and this film really made me realize how much I love it. And it's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Jack Nicholson, and this one is just amazing. I don't know what to say is wrong with this one. Nothing's wrong with it. It's like a perfect movie to me. This movie showed me where, I don't know, this is how important this is. It is to me, and I love it. And all these movies have done that, but that one specifically, it made me realize, like, man, I can't keep going and not try at least to get into something that has to do with movies. It's a love of mine. It is always going to be there for me, no matter how I feel. It's one of the few things that actually can turn my mind off for a while, and I love it. I'm so thankful that I was able to see that one. I definitely think you guys should go through these films that I just talked about. I probably didn't do any of them justice, but please check them out, and let me know what you think down below. If there's any of these that you have seen, let's start a conversation about them. You guys, let me know down below in the comment section what you thought. Did you hate it? You loved them? Are you like me? Do you love movies? Was there one movie that just like flipped that switch for you, and you went from love to realizing like this might be something you want to do for the rest of your life? You want to have some involvement with this, something that's just there in your life that's never gonna move with it. Let me know. I want to thank you guys all for joining me in this journey that I've taken. I have learned a lot about video editing. Not as much as I need to. I need to learn more. I need to get better, and that's what I'm trying to do every week. I want to be here every week, getting better. I'm going to take a hiatus for a little bit. I'm going to be coming back with movies of the week every week. Let me know what you guys need to see. I appreciate you coming in. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of who I am and where I've come from with my movie interests. And with that being said, you guys, for the 100th episode of Movie Time, remember to click the like, share, subscribe buttons down below. Leave your comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section. Let's have a great conversation this week. We'll see you next time. Peace.